Hi, I'm Jesse Junvier, also known as Sushi Corvios. I've seen the document on me, and I was initially making a response to it to a friend of mine, but as I was making it, I saw that it went public, and it is currently actually threatening the projects that I am in. So this is my response. I'm so sorry that it starts off as a voice message to a friend before eventually devolving into the public response. I'm so sorry for that. This is all sloppy. I'm just extremely terrified right now. Please take a listen. Take your time. This is like near a 2 to 3 hour recording. Just please listen to it. You don't have to, but please listen to it. Okay, here's my response, or at least hopefully definitive my response. I just got done doing a bunch of stuff, and I'm not doing so hot. So about this whole document, I know about it, obviously. I very much wish this stayed private, but whatever, I don't really mind. So let's start off. You already know this whole spiel. Me and Coco have been, father and child for God knows how long. Let's start. I wish we would have talked this out, right? Okay, the stress and the miscommunication. So, after the graduation, I was dealing with other things, so I was already stressed, and instantly, I was not notified ever that it was going to be with extended family. Coco had only said, "Oh, you're just going to go see my family." Does that sound like meeting your extended family? No, not really, right? So I didn't know that it was going to be, I felt bad. It ate away at me that I didn't show up at the graduation party, but I'm not confident around people, especially people that are giving me judgmental stares. The second that I came in, the family was already on me and wanting to basically assassinate me. That's what I felt like. So, I left. And then later that night, they decided to do a sleepover with the cousins. I was panicking about the same thing. From my hotel, and so Coco decides to call me. She explained that I didn't like the fact that I was hitting her, which, fair enough. I was doing that I do that with friends. Obviously, people are not gonna take that kindly. I don't like how Coco picked this out. I laughed nervously. Yes, I laughed. I laughed. I will admit, I laughed nervously. I did indeed laugh nervously, but I was taking it seriously. Despite, she was like, "No, I'm being serious." That's when my laughing stopped. Then I tried to formulate myself as good as I could. I was like, "Okay, I understand. I'm sorry for hitting you. All this thing, this, that, the third, obviously." But she left that part out, didn't she? The whole money thing, I don't care. I don't care. The whole money thing. We went to the mall, right? And as expressed by Coco herself, the mall is a very traumatic place for her, as it reminds her of Ramon. There's a more in-depth explanation how bad it gets. So every second that we were there, I was like, "Are you sure you can do this?" And I flashed my hand up as an option, like, "Hey, you want to hold something?" And then my hand's right here. Coco took it, right? So take that in your brain, put that in there. Coco took the hand. Okay, cool. I did express how much I wanted to go to the mall, but that's because I just like malls. And knowing it was a sensitive place for Coco, I thought, hey, maybe we can tackle this issue now. You know, you're reminded of Ramon every time you leave the fucking house. I can maybe try and help remedy that, you know? And so Coco's like, oh, this is not like a one-sided thing. Coco's grabbing my hand, right? And at times is holding it harder than me. The whole being a lot more touchy than usual was because there would be... What happened? The Dave and Buster's thing? I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember what happened. We played a racing game. Me and Jackson played 2 racing games. I played a UFC game, and we went to a Halo machine, and then we also did air hockey. Sorry, my brain stuttered. The times that Coco would try to pull away, that never happened. Outright, that would never happen because I never grabbed Coco. The thing that I did was I would just flash my hand up for like, oh, well, what happened, right? And then also like, I don't mind like, if they need to take it again, go ahead. And Coco would just grab it. But whatever. Again, this is a lot of he said, she said. The whole my cousin wanted to go to the restroom, said it was an emergency, but just say it would not let go of my hand. I will not even let my cousin go. That never happened. That never happened at all. Like they never asked me any of that. It was up until there was no bathroom near us, as a matter of fact. From where we entered, there was no bathroom. So you know, we enter the mall, we see the Spencers, and that's when her cousin goes, oh, I'm gonna go to the back of the Spencers. You know, it's okay, go for it. And then she goes, okay, Coco, come along. All right, awesome sauce, cool. That's when they dipped. So I was like, okay, awesome sauce. Then said that I needed to get out immediately, even though I told him I didn't need to get out. I was perfectly fine. Instead, he decided to push me and grab my hand. We were in box lunch for God knows how fucking long, and Jackson, as well as myself, were both extremely bored. Yeah, that was me trying to rush Coco. Like, come on, let's get the fuck out of here. You know, I was bored out of my mind. Not in any correlation with you know, with what Coco had went through, whatever. So we do talk about the whole everybody has their own different healing process, which I will go back and read these messages myself. I'll go back and read the messages right now. These are from before I took the trip. And this is how you're going to know who's who. But I'm going to read these out. Hey, I think Ramon is dating someone. I'm overthinking. What if he is? What? Is this like punishment for me talking bad about him? No. If he is, then let him go. You can't go back, you know? He'll fuck them up. And she's like, I know I can't, but I love him. I don't want to move on. And if he does this, it might be 20 years from now. I don't want to be here alone with this feeling and knowing he's not feeling anything. And I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, but you can't keep clinging on to this. I just read your message midway through here. That was me typing my response saying that I was finding old chats. Well, you can't clinging onto this. You must come to terms one day that Ramon just doesn't feel any remorse for what he did. You cannot let this drag you down, though. Later found out Ramon does feel insane remorse. Anyways, she goes, don't you think I know this? Doesn't anybody think I know this? He's gone, and he's never cared. He grew in me, and I'm stuck with this heart. I just want him to come back. I want my husband back. The one who made me believe in marriage and having kids, who made me want to stop cutting myself each day. I know he's gone, and no matter how much I love him, he's never coming back. He's not my husband, but I just want my husband. Okay. That was a lot to unpack, so I'm like, I'm sorry, I get what you're feeling, but trying my best here to help you out. I actually say we, because me, Luna, and other people are also trying to help Coco out. You know, it's like, you need to do your part, because at the moment, from what I hear from Luna, you've taken a back seat and haven't been doing your part here. You must ensure change happens. We can't do everything for you. Which, I'm talking to Luna at the same time, and I'm asking her, like, hey, how's it been going with Coco? And Luna starts talking about how Coco is very adamant on trying to see things that involve Ramon, and almost like she doesn't want to leave where she's at right now. Okay, that's odd. And Coco goes, I know y'all can't help me out. What do you mean I took a back seat and haven't been doing my part? And I'm like, it was like, you've been begging her for card readings and hopes for an answer regarding Ramon. You've also just regressed. That's a huge step back when you had so much progress. While you aren't back at 0, you did go back a lot just from going back to calling him your husband. It's fine to ask for advice and readings for motivation, but you cannot always, like, you cannot rely on us to give that hope and motivation, you know? And then I also responded to her saying, I know you can't help me out, by saying, like, we can, but we can't do everything for you, which is just true. We can't do everything for someone. And she goes, well, don't think I already gave up on the readings? I already know what the readings are going to say. It's going to be moving on. I was stressed today because I'm realizing I'm graduating. So there's some hope for me when I get out, because guess what? I'm not really going to college, and it's stressing me out. I even told you, yes, I hope, but I know it's just a dream. And saying I'm going back because I called him my husband, like, yes, I know he's not, but I'm literally not doing okay right now. It's not okay. Oh, sorry. I misread that. Sorry. It's not me going back. It's just hurting and just wanting to cry. Going through a rough patch right now. I pray to God that if I pass my test, he's never coming back, because I want to go without him coming back. I told you and Luna, especially Luna. I even told Luna the reason why I asked for readings is because it helps me to look forward to things, because sometimes I get good things. I'm like, those 3 can still apply, yes, but the bluntful truth is telling yourself you weren't going to do that again, and going back and doing it again is still regression. That's not a bad thing since you're still recovering, but I'm trying to help you to nip it in the bud before it gets worse and you regress fully. I don't want to see you go back to that state. And what I had meant by this is because I've seen people who make recoveries regress once. Okay, well, excuse it because they regress, right? It's only a one-time thing. Or, hey, they're still healing, so leave it be, right? So they'll regress, and then they'll make progress again, and then they'll regress, and then they'll make progress. It's a whole cycle. So, you know, I had wanted to prevent that, and I was like, yeah, you just, hold on. What did I say here? And yes, you said that, but you also just told me you wanted him back. Right there, you're kind of contradicting yourself. I think this was me, I think this is me trying to debunk multiple arguments at the same time. So I wrote out a pretty confusing message. I'm really sorry. That's even confusing to me. Oh, wait, no. I had a screenshot here as well to like her chat of her saying like, I just want him coming back. I want my husband back. And it's like, because it's hurting me. Don't you think, of course I want him back? I told everybody, especially you, many times that yes, I love Ramon, and yes, I want him back each day of my life. And I told you if he did come back, he will have to work for it by getting yelled at with my whole family and you and Becca. You were treating this like I haven't been honest with you from the start about wanting him back. You're treating this like I haven't said those words, just added husband, because I am literally in the middle of an episode. And I want to think of him as a husband. Proof of our conversation too, if you don't believe me. And here it's an attached screenshot of Luna giving Coco a reading, and I don't know any of these tarot cards, so I'm sorry, I don't know what they say. It's like Amy's tarot cards, but I have no idea what it is. Coco goes, good things. Okay, working on and moving on. Thank you so much again. I don't really believe in these much, but I always like to believe because it's comforting. Just at least guess the future. Same way how I feel about religion too. I don't really believe in it, but it's comforting to believe in it. I'm always scared about the future, so this is really nice to have. Thank you, really thank you so much. Of course, I'm always happy to help and bring comfort, says Luna. And Coco says, thank you so much, really, and if you need any art or favors, I'm more than happy to do so, especially you've been doing a lot of readings for me, and honestly, I can't begin to say how I'm so thankful for it. These things help me be comforted, just like religion. And I was like, I sent this not as myself, but as my sister Becca, who was helping me write this all. And she just told me to write this. It honestly feels like you aren't listening to what I have to say. You're stating you acknowledge it, sure, but it doesn't feel like that way when I'm having to repeat my points like a broken record. It's out of my capability to help you with this episode because I'm going through a bunch of things myself, which is true. I was going through... This is expressly right before the trip happened. So, come to find out, the hotel that I was at, that I was going to go to, failed to tell me that it was 21 only, and I had to get a refund back for my money spent. And then there was also the car rental that I had to worry about because they weren't going to let me get the keys because I wasn't fucking 21. Okay, cool. So now I'm on last minute trying to get a new hotel, a new car rental, all these other things, and figuring out what the hell I'm going to do. Obviously, everything worked out because, hey, right? The trip went well. And, sorry, I know that there's a lot of pauses here. It's just me trying to recollect my thoughts. And I'm going to send this to you uncut, obviously, which I probably should have said this in the beginning. This is all uncut. I'm not going to be cutting out anything from these things, just so that you understand. But I was dealing with a lot. So she comes up to me later, the next day, been thinking about our conversation, and I want to clarify something because I feel my emotions are being mistaken for me going back. I'm not going back. I was hurting. I had just gone on my senior walk. I was emotional, and I was having an episode. Calling him my husband or saying I wanted him back was me looking for comfort and something I still emotionally struggle with, not me secretly planning to run back to the relationship. Fair enough. I've been honest from the very beginning that I still love him, and that part of my healing process is accepting those feelings still exist. Healing for me is not forcing myself to move on or pretend I suddenly stop loving someone who emotionally hurt me. It's learning how to live my life while still having those emotions and understanding the harm that it has done to me. And yes, if he ever came back, I've already said that there would have been boundaries, accountability, change. I've never hidden that from anybody, including you. I also want to say this respectfully. If Luna wasn't comfortable with me asking for readings, I would have preferred hearing that directly from her instead of feeling like it was being relayed through someone else. Which, by the way, Luna had never stated that. I don't know where she got that from. I'm not comfortable being in situations where people speak for each other here instead of communicating with me directly. Okay? It seems like this situation is very hypocritical because, she went to you instead of communicating with me. The readings were never me trying to go backwards. They comfort me in the same way religion comforts. She explains herself, right? It's the religion or hope comforts people. I understand why you're worried. I know you probably feel like you keep repeating yourself, but I also feel like I keep having to explain the same thing over and over as well. I'm like, okay, Luna never meant it in a way that it made her uncomfortable. That's not what she meant or said at all. It's okay to feel what you are at the moment, but letting them out in a way that makes you seem like you want to go back worries everyone around you about the worst. Slightly deterring from this, I know when we first reconnected, I said I'd let you know if I'm all good to myself to help out. And I just tell her here, like, I'm not really good. You know? That's like I'm still stuck at, like, I even have a percentage, as you notice, in which, you know, I state if I'm bad or not. So, you know, you just sent me another message. I'll look at it later. I'm sorry. I was like, I should have told you that earlier, and I'm sorry that I didn't, because I ended up getting lost on what to say and what to do, so I had to get help from Becca and Luna, which is why a lot of the messages didn't really sound like me, if you noticed. For my 2 cents at the moment, I don't think you can coexist with the emotions and you got and learn to live with them. It affects you too strongly to the point where, again, you had made it seem like you had wanted to go back and were regressing when you were just trying to comfort yourself. And she's like, I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate you clarifying things about Luna and being honest where you're at mentally too. I think where we differ is that I'm not trying to erase these feelings completely. I know they affect me strongly, but part of healing for me is learning how to live while still having them, and instead of pretending they don't exist. I also need you to understand going forward that people heal differently. Some people are able to move on quickly, some people take years, and some people learn to live with certain feelings instead of completely losing them. Healing processes can be similar, but they're also different for everybody, and mine is probably going to take a very long time. When we first reconnected in the 3-hour call that, you know, I was yelling at them, calling them an idiot for, you know, like fucking me over like that, I had stated this. I had stated, you're not going to heal quickly. This is like 5 years. You're not going to heal quickly at all. This is going to take a minute, and you're going to trip up along the way, which it's fine, but I'm going to point out when you trip up. What is the situation? It's one of those situations where I point out where she messed up. So she just uses my own words against me, okay? She's like, what else? What else did she say right after? Sorry, I'm looking back at the message and I'm trying to track on where I was. For me, dismissing my feelings, especially about someone I deeply loved, would hurt more than actually acknowledging them. Sorry. Acknowledging that I still love someone is not the same thing as blindly ignoring the harm they caused me. I wasn't trying to argue with you or dismiss your concerns. I just wanted you to understand that me hurting and wanting comfort is not the same thing as me fully going backwards. Fair enough. I'm not trying to say that you like that's the case. I'm sorry that I didn't understand, but I'm not going to give my argument right now because I give my argument at the end. And she's like, I don't really want to keep this to keep turning into a back and forth though, because I feel like we're both repeating ourselves at this point. And even Arden understands that I've been clear from the very start about how I got to here and how I want to deal with my feelings for this person. I and her both agreed that we're indifferent, and of course I'm going to regress and trying to find comfort. It's what an episode is, you know, finding comfort in something while you're struggling. Going back to me means me calling him 30 times. What? Going back to me means me calling him 30 times again and stalking him and cutting but I haven't done that. Sorry, there's a comma here, so it doesn't make grammatical sense. I'm assuming what the way that this is going to be read out. Going back to me means me calling him 30 times again and stalking him and cutting, but I haven't done any of that. Simply saying a few phrases isn't the exact thing of me going back. I know it brings up concerns, but next time you should be concerned if I tell you I called him 5 times. Okay, I completely understand that now, but I do want to clarify. This is where I just buckle my knee. Because I know simply my argument was, you know, like this saying and calling Ramon your husband is a form of regression, but it's just not being acknowledged here. Like it's kind of just being shoved aside. Actually, no, hold on. Let me regain my thoughts, because, again, even my thoughts are racing as this is happening, because I've noticed that Coco went on Twitter about it, and I'm also going to use this as my own response, by the way. Like, I'll just be releasing this recording as my own response as to what happened. And I'm like, okay, I completely understand that now, but I do want to clarify just one more time that I get that healing takes time. I'm not saying you didn't make any progress. I'm not saying that you regress fully. Regression isn't always going completely back on your word, and I know that better than most people when I'm dealing with a nicotine addiction, which, you know, I added as a sort of relatability, or, you know, because I did start picking cigarettes up because of this job that I had and how I was dealing with it. My family knows about it, and, you know, it's a thing, but this isn't about me. Anyways, my main concern was simply for you to not get stuck in a cycle where you made progress and then took a small step back, so as it can destroy your mental fortitude, or even worse, make a full regression and then finding yourself unable to recover. But again, I understand now that you were simply trying to find comfort during an episode. Granted, it's a bit difficult for me to adapt to the episodes, as I've never really experienced one myself. And that's something that you have to experience, whether it be firsthand or being around people who've had it that before, in order to help. I will still continue to try my best to understand and further try to assist you with all that I can muster. And she's like, okay, I wish I had this level of communication with everybody in the whole world. Sorry, my boss is currently messaging me. For one of my projects, Astro. Sorry, he just asked me, like, what is this I'm hearing about you? Anyways, I'm assuming this document is spreading like wildfire, which means I'm short on time. And that's certainly not a fun thing. Okay. She was like, love you, Dad. Okay, I'm like, oh, I love you too, kiddo. Blah, blah, blah. Love you. So sad if I made you want to. I love you. I was so sad if I made you want to leave. No, it's okay. We can communicate everything. It's okay. I was so worried. I love my dad. And then she, that's where that argument ends. You know, the next morning, this wasn't during that time. So that was a misplaced area, but it's not like I give much of a, yeah, that's fine, I guess. Next morning we went to Walmart to get swim clothes. Everything was fine, but I didn't notice I'm speeding up a lot of things in the car that I didn't really like, since I do have mission sickness, and even stated to him before, I thought it was fine and just letting it go. What? Sorry, I'm stuck on this because I'm so confused as to what it is. Oh, I know what they're talking about. Okay, yeah, something that I did as a joke was I let go of the accelerator and then I pressed forward. By the way, I had no idea that she had motion sickness. That was not something that was stated to me. That was a lie. That was not something that was stated to me. Not only that, but Coco was also giggling about the whole thing. So I guess whatever. Play fighting, says Shaw and Jerry were saying once we got back, as I remember, he gets a little hazy, so please bear with me. He decided to play fight with me a lot and with my little brother. Well, I did hurt. I even told him about my jaw. And he tried to, okay. So, so the play fighting, I didn't mandate Coco to do that, right? I was doing it with her little brother. And that was her Jackson, for aforementioned Jackson. You know, he's the one that I've been wrestling with. I've been play fighting with him. Coco would be asked, "Hey, do you want to join in?" And Coco would say yes, and then join in. So this isn't like, oh, I'm forcing you to fight back against me, right? And something that I would state while we were like wrestling and throwing each other was like, "Come on, show me what they taught you in ROTC," right? Then she's like, oh, do you want me to actually show you? Okay, sure. So I'm like, okay, well, what did they train you for? And I'm assuming they had you train for this, right? And I pretend to put them in a fucking headlock. There's no force against this, right? So, and then Coco shows me what she was taught, and I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. pinned me on the floor, and I made a joke saying, "You're not really choking me," and then he started to actually choke me. No. So the whole pinned on the floor, Coco went on the floor and then said I wouldn't choke her. She was like teasing it. You're not going to choke me. You're not going to choke me. And I was like, okay. You want to test my patience? Okay, I got you. And so I did it back, but not even that hard. I was like, okay, well, pretend to, you know what? This is odd. So I'm just going to let go, but pretend I'm choking you, I guess, you know? And, sorry to hear that, you know, her jaw dislocated. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. That was just, again, result play fighting. I much rather this would have been handled in private. Let's see. Please be warned, by this time I did have confused feelings. I even stated to my cousin about a dream that I had that I'm not comfortable sharing. My feelings weren't romantic. These were just mixed feelings from being abandoned from before. Okay, that right there is a lie. That right there is a lie, because, no, we'll get to it later on, actually. So keep that in mind. Keep that statement in mind. I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, major depression, and schizoaffective disorder. I have been in hospital multiple times, on and off medication, have had therapists. My mental health does not consent. I have never acted on anything, and I have always been clear I do not want anything inappropriate. Keep that statement in mind as well. Please keep that statement in mind as well. Late at night, we decided to play Street Fighter. I was customizing myself in the game, making my hair green and blue, only making my face accurate and my height. Everything else I didn't change because I didn't even want to change my body, because I mainly just wanted to focus on the hair. Character didn't even look like me, with bright green and blue hair with a chubby face. Once I was done with my character, Jesse had to explain that I didn't have all that. Okay, I know exactly what this situation is. Here it is. Here's what happened. So the Street Fighter 6 avatar preset that Coco had chosen was extremely provocative, had an insane amount of chest and posterior, so to speak. Kind that were really humanly impossible. So I made that joke. I was like, well, nobody has all that. No, like, that ass, nobody has all that. Well, Coco gets mad. Coco gets upset. Okay, reasonably so. My bad. I didn't know that was a sensitive topic. But she starts telling me, like, my body's the only thing that I have comfort in, because it makes me not look like a 12-year-old boy. You know, like, this is all I have comfort in. And I'm like, okay, my bad. You know, I rescind my comment. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a sensitive thing. And she's not taking that for an answer. And she's constantly telling me about how the only thing that she has pride in is her body, and that, you know, like, what I said was rude. And I'm like, I understand that it's rude. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. And I'm trying to tell her, like, hey, I didn't mean it. I'm trying to make it better. She's not taking anything for an answer. She's constantly pressing me about this. And then I'm like, okay, I'm being cornered here. What do you take as an answer? Right? Like, okay. And I do something fucking stupid. Jackson, get out of the room real quick. Okay. Jackson leaves. I go up to Coco and I'm like, okay, fine. Is this what you wanted to hear? They're huge. I didn't want to fucking say that. Like, I really didn't want to say that. And I even made it, like, extremely obvious. I was like, I didn't want to fucking say that. Like, is that what you want? Is that what you wanted for me to say? Because you weren't taking anything else for an answer. So, you know, she says that it wasn't true. Very much was true. And he asked him why I was even insecure about that. I explained multiple times, even online. Time that was my confidence of not being seen as a child. Okay, fair enough. But why are you also acting like a child in most other interactions that you have with other people? Why are you, if you don't want to be seen as a child, why are you not taking initiative and not being seen as a child? Which I do state this. The movie theater incident. We decided to go to a movie theater with my family. I was extremely excited to go see the movie Backrooms. He said it was fine and he'd follow my lead. He's been telling me this nonstop, how he will follow my lead. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I did. During the movie, he would purposely scare me. Yeah, that's how I am. But she failed to realize what happened beforehand. I'm not good with horror movies. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm a squeamish little bitch. You can put a gun in front of my head and I won't flinch a fucking second. But the second you put a horror movie on my face, I'm crying, screaming, and begging for mercy. All right? And before that, before we had decided to watch The Backrooms, she had asked me what movie I wanted to see. And I was like, oh, I want to watch the MJ biopic. And we had an argument about it, right? Like, I want to watch the MJ biopic. She wants to watch The Backrooms. I want to watch the MJ biopic. And this is because I don't like horror movies, right? Admittedly, I should have spoken up and said, hey, I don't want to watch the horror movie. But I didn't. And that's a fuck up on my part. That's very much a fuck up on my part. I messed up. But I'm obviously telling her, like, hey, I want to watch the MJ biopic. I really want to watch the MJ biopic. And even when we get to the movie theater, I'm like, I really, really want to watch the MJ biopic. I don't want to watch the Backrooms movie. I did try to scare her multiple times, but that's something that that my father did with me back when I would watch horror movies, right? So I thought it was funny. My bad. I didn't know that it was a bad thing. I'm sorry. I should have known better. I know I just said my bad, and I know I just burped, which makes it seem like I'm not taking this seriously, but I'm very sorry. I said I'm not going to cut this out so people don't think I'm suspicious. But yeah, no, I was very much adamant that I didn't like the movie. She asked me, like, are you not scared? And I would say, no, man, I'm not scared. No, not at all. Which, by the way, if you're in a movie theater with friends and your friend's telling you that he's not scared in the most obvious scared tone ever, would you believe that? Sorry, I'm reading more of this. Even after I offered my plushie to hold on to, even if I pulled away, he would grab back onto me telling me that he was scared. Okay, the plushie. Never happened. I'm sorry, but never happened. This is an outright lie. Whatever. And the grabbing onto thing, she didn't pull away. Like, she didn't pull away at all. That was a lie. Okay, awesome. So, of course I didn't believe him because during the whole movie he was constantly scaring me, and when I turned to him and tried to scare him, he wasn't even scared. I have an insane poker face. That's all I have to say. I have an insane fucking poker face. I was scared shitless. Every time Coco scared me, I genuinely jumped in my own skin. So, I was scared. I would jump in my own skin. I would fucking, car ride before Ocean, Science Museum, and Art Museum Day. We went to this and we were driving. While we were in the car, I was slamming my heart out. I was being mentally ill. This was brought up out of nowhere, by the way. That whole thing, I don't even remember that happening. I'm not going to say that didn't happen, but I don't remember that happening. Probably did happen, but assuming that it would have came out of nowhere. Right. While we were in the car, I was telling him how hard it was how I felt like I couldn't find anybody so far. All the guys I have met, it's always been a really weird interest. I was also explaining how I felt because I couldn't because of my mental health. During this times where my feelings were very conflicting, which I'm going to state this now. Her feelings are that she was in love with me at the same time that she was in love with Ramon. And this was told to me to have lasted since from when we reconnected back on March 8th. Okay. Do we have that out of the way? We have that out of the way. This wasn't as much of a conversation as it was Coco yelling at me that she's not going to find anyone. Admittedly, this is going to be a he said, she said situation. So from everything that happened in person, this is kind of like high school drama, if I'm being honest, but I'm making this response as to better give, don't take what I'm saying as definitive. This is what I'm going to say right now as well. Do not take what I'm saying as definitive, as I make mistakes and I trip up. Formulate your own opinions after hearing this. You know, I'm sorry, Arden. I know this message was initially meant to be for you, but I started making it for like a response of a general wider audience. You know, also wanted to include that I have borderline personality, major depression, schizoaffective disorder. Okay, you mentioned that before. Major diagnosed and treated with inpatient and outpatient care. I was trying to express how overwhelmed I feel internally and how my thoughts and emotions were not stable during this time. I was feeling he was speeding up the car at points. No, that's just how I drive. I'm so sorry. That's just how I drive. I'm a reckless driver. While she was trying to talk, the way that I drive is I'm very much a reckless driver. I speed up if I want to pass somebody, right? And I would warn her. I would warn her beforehand. I would be like, hey, I'm going to speed up. Prepare yourself. Cool. Boom. I would accelerate. I remember feeling like I was being pushed to say things I was not ready to say while the driving itself was becoming faster and more intense. No, sorry, that didn't happen. I'm gonna just nip that in the bud right now. No. I would accelerate at some points to overpass people. The streets of Texas are not fun. By far some of the worst roads I've ever experienced. And I've driven in the heart of Chicago. I remember feeling I was being, sorry, I'm reading back. Even while I was trying to keep talking to her, stay calm, I felt pressure building in the situation that I could not fully control. That whole thing. What? That whole thing? She's making it seem like I'm that one Teen Titans Go gif of like Beast Boy driving. Admittedly, I kind of am, but I'm not going at breakneck speeds. I'm barely going like 10, maybe 15 above the speed limit, right? And that's just how I am. I'm sorry. It's kind of hard to like focus on somebody like yelling at you that they're never going to find anybody in their life ever, and that they are going to die alone, and that they're going to kill themselves, as well as like trying to drive and manage the streets of Texas. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's possible. I know I'm trying to make light of this. That's just how I cope. I'm very sorry. It's not that I'm not taking this seriously. It's that I am trying to find a way to comfort myself while also making a message. And I noticed that my microphone is picking up like my breath and whatnot. I don't know if anybody can realize that it's very frantic. I'm very sorry. You know, this is at the Science Museum. This is where it got worse. This is where I had to tell myself just because I didn't speak out doesn't mean any discomfort. Doesn't matter. Yes, true. I didn't yell at her, scream, and said I just push away. Doesn't mean this is my fault. Okay, cool. The times that she told me that there were signs. We'll get to that argument when we get there. And well, in the museum where he decided to grab me, hold me, and try to aim for my neck and bite me. No. Okay, so during this whole trip, Coco has been biting me, and I've been biting back, right? Whether it be on the hand or the arms and whatnot. And Coco had just bit me. And Coco rests at a height in which she is extremely shorter than me. She is at my chest. So, what did I do? I grabbed her and I bit her in whatever spot I could. That I didn't want to bite her face, obviously. That would have hurt too much, and I also didn't do it hard. I just bit. Awesome. He saw he left a mark and then ran away. I did not. I saw I left a mark, apologized profusely. I apologized and I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to leave a mark there. I'm so sorry. I don't want to be seen as like a creep or anything. You know, like I didn't know that I left a mark. I didn't know that was a sensitive skin area. I'm so sorry. I start profusely, you know, apologizing. And then, let's see. Walked away from the situation and honestly felt like crying. I don't know why. I just froze. I didn't know. I didn't speak up or yell. When he came to look at me, he said he was frantic about me leaving a mark. He said he didn't want to leave a mark on me, and my comment was back. It was, yeah, sure. No, it wasn't. Her comment was, I understand. It's fine. I don't really care. Let that soak in for a minute. He started to shake me around, trying to get answers out of me. Right. She had told me, hey, I have a secret against you. What? Okay, well, do you want to tell me? No, I'm not going to tell you. But I have a secret against you. Uh-huh. Well, please tell me. No. And that's how the entire situation was. She would just constantly tell me, hey, I have a secret against you. And I would be like, okay, well, tell me. Like, please tell me. This is making me, like, assume the worst. This is making me think you genuinely hate me. Like, after years of build up a friendship, this is making me think that you want me dead. Right? Like, all right. So, there's that. Also, at the museum that she failed to mention was that after a while, I felt so guilt-tripped that, not guilt-tripped, guilt-ridden. Sorry, that wasn't the right word. Don't take that. Don't take that. Guilt-ridden that I had left a mark, that I had sat down to, like, really soak in what the fuck I did, right? I was like, ah, shit, I messed up. I really messed up. I shouldn't have left that mark, and I shouldn't have bitten there. I'm such an idiot, whatnot. And I'm like, shitting on myself here. And then Coco realizes that I sit down, walks away, goes to see other pieces at the art museum. And I start getting DMs of another situation that I am dealing with that is private. And I freak out a little bit. I'm not doing well. I start scratching at myself as a way of comfort. Not like a harsh scratching, like I'm gonna tear off my skin kind of way. A scratching in which it's like light, soft, there for comfort, whatnot. And Coco, she comes back around, and she's like, "Oh, well, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I'm just freaking out a little bit here, but I'll be fine." You know, she sits right next to me, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I kind of just want to take a little bit of time, just, you know, let myself relax." So I open up TikTok, I start watching a couple things, and she wraps her hands around my body and starts like watching the TikToks over my shoulder, right? And she's like really up close with me. I didn't have an issue with this. Admittedly, I found it weird, but I didn't have an issue because I didn't think much of it. That's just it. Like, I just didn't think much of it. You know. She's watching these with me. A couple ones of relationships come up, and she starts shaking me. And she's like, "I'm never going to find anyone. I'm going to be lonely. I'm going to have to open up a cat cafe, and I'm going to die alone." Like, holy shit. What is happening? Right? So, bit questionable that she forgot to mention that happened. I never ran away. So I want to make that a point. For the art museum, we went to the ocean area. He made comments about throwing me in the oceans or me jumping in there and killing myself. No! No! No, 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 no. Let's not try and twist this. Sorry, this is so sudden that, like, it caught me off guard. We went by the ocean because I wanted to take a pictures, which I still have the pictures. Very beautiful pictures. I love them. And she had made a comment. She was like, "Don't try to swim in there. Don't stand there. You will fall in and you will die." And I was like, "Oh, well, fair enough, you know." And then she made a comment. She was like, "Oh, well, I would go in there because I want to die." What? Okay. Well, don't do that. So I grab her from like the rock that she's standing on, and I'm like, "Well, I don't feel comfortable with you being there anymore. Come on, let's go." Like, you're gonna try to kill yourself before fucking. Sorry, I started reading forward and I lost my train of thought. I was like, I don't feel comfortable with you standing there before you would actually genuinely, like, I didn't know if she was just gonna fucking jump in. And what would I do in that situation? I'm not a good swimmer, so like, I don't want that to happen. And then we went on the stairs. You know, as we were walking up the stairs, she was like, "Well, I should go in there and I should kill myself." And by this point, I let my filter slip a little bit. I fucked up. I admit that I messed up. I said, well, then just do it, right? Because when you get told by somebody so many times that they're gonna kill themselves, like over and over and over on one trip, you're gonna want to just say, just do it. I'm sorry, like especially with my personality and how I am. Yeah, I said, then just do it. You know, like just jump in the water. And she actually started going over there. So what did I do? I fucking grabbed her. I was like, no, 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 don't actually do that. Don't actually do that. Don't fucking do that. She'd make comments about me jumping in or jumping off the stairs. No, she made those herself. You know, when we went to the art museum, everything was calm so far. She failed to mention, again, the thing that happened at the art museum where she wrapped her arms around my body and she, like, rested her head on my shoulder. Okay. One thing that I do want to mention so that this doesn't get used up against me is that while we were in the art museum, we were fucking around and I did pin her up against a wall. She uses this against me as a way to, later on in an argument, which I will read over, unedited, everything. There was a lot of times where he hugged me and leaned his head onto my neck or onto my shoulder. No, that hurts. No, you're at my chest. That hurts. No. She would hug me, I would hug her back, or vice versa. I would hug her, she would hug me back. And one thing that I always notice with, I've hugged people shorter than me before. I know the difference between resting your head and squeezing to get deeper into my chest. A lot of my friends do it, trust me. I've been through it before. My friends of all, like, they make jokes. They're like, oh, your tits are so fucking huge, right? And they like grab it, whatnot. I don't care. It's just how dudes joke around. And sometimes chicks, because shit, we have chicks in our friend group as well, and so some of the chicks do it as well. So, you know, she would squeeze my back to the, sorry, I had impact frame on my breath. She would squeeze my back because I was trying to reenact it like in person as if you guys could see me. I'm sorry. She would squeeze my back and, you know, like to the point where it made my back crack. Like I felt that, ouch, right? I didn't know she had that much strength, but she did. And she would press up her face up against my chest. You know, I didn't want to lean into her neck. No. Most of the time, it was her grabbing my head and then, like, me just kind of going with the flow, whatever, of how the hug was. And it would hurt, obviously, because from my height, I'm not tall. I'm really, again, I'd want to make this a point. I'm not tall. I am 5'7". She is 4'10". Right? She's very, very much just a tiny, tiny person. And well, that would hurt. Honestly, that would hurt. And again, there were times in the trip where I deadass used her as an armrest. Like, because I'd be bored and I would just, you know, fuck it, put my arm on there, like on the shoulder. That's how short Coco is. Like, okay, anyways. I have a lot of friends who have done that with me, but even then I felt uncomfortable, especially because I was scared that he was going to bite me on my shoulder again. I don't know. I didn't fucking do that. Whatever. We did hug each other. One thing that she failed to mention is we were in a room with a bunch of weird little sculptures. Had this frog guy there. He was like damn near everywhere. He looked like a frog. And Coco came up to me, gave me a tight hug, and, you know, I'm trying to still move around because I want to go see the art, right? And she directs me to a wall and slams me on it, and she doesn't want to move. And I'm like, hey, okay, you're going to have to move. I want to go see other stuff. She's like, that's literally what she does, by the way. She just goes, shut up, okay? Well, how about this? And I picked her up. Like, I just picked her up. I'm sorry. She's light. She's 4'10". Fucking, I'm this 200-pound man. I'm going to pick her up. I swung her around until she let go. Finally, she let go, and we were able to continue our trip. Curious how she forgot to mention that. Okay, there was one comment he stated I did where I would constantly give him hugs and put his face on my chest. I have to explain this. I'm very short, and most of the time my head goes onto people's chest. That's okay. Yeah. Fair. I just said that that's fine. This goes with my friends, family, even relations to me. No matter who I hug, I always bury my face in their chest. Okay. You didn't paint this out this way when we argued about this. So, you know. Car right after museum, emotional state. I even made jokes saying how I can't pull. She goes back on this. Sorry, I just skipped forward. We were going home. I was like, this is more just yelling at me. Like that she wasn't gonna pull anybody, and you know, fucking. I'm gonna also like reveal something about myself before we get onto this. Also, like this next section, I have a period in my past in which I am not proud of, and it includes me with very much a high body count. And I had done that to feel something, to feel wanted. This isn't to get pity points. I don't want to make this public, but I have to if people want to, like, if I want to make people understand me. And I'm sorry for how messy this is. Because, you know, it started off as a message towards one of my friends, and then it evolved to a message towards the public. I'm so sorry. And for people that are still here, I thank you for giving me the patience and giving me the time to explain what happened. I'm not proud of it. In there, I was very, very cocky, very rude. I was very much a playboy. I know it doesn't look like it when you look at me. Like if any of you ever by chance have the chance to look at me, doesn't look like it, but it's happened. And I know that's hard to believe, but it has happened. And I've been, this is also really sad that I have to say, I've been assaulted sexually 3 times prior. And every time my brain always goes on the, I never count them. I never count them except for the first one, because during those things that are happening, my brain, as a failsafe to keep me from mentally deteriorating, would basically regress me back to that age and make it seem as if, yeah, this was totally consensual when it wasn't. And I admit that's not okay, and that I should seek therapy for that. I just don't have the money. I'm sorry. But I have been trying to work on it even on my own without therapy. So that's something that happens. She wasn't making jokes that she can't pull. Joking is when you say something like, oh, yeah, man, I can't pull. It's fucking hilarious. No, Coco would grab me by the shirt collar, shake me profusely and furiously, and state, I'm never going to pull. I'm going to kill myself. I'm never going to pull. I'm going to kill myself. That is a whole different story. Sorry, I'm back on that whole thing about me. I didn't want to make that public, but I have to. And it sucks. Just he decided to roughhouse and pull me down to the ground. He was hugging me and I had embraced a hug. Okay. I was roughhousing. Yeah. And then she gave me a hug and she slammed me into the fucking bed. And then she wouldn't let go. Curious how she forgot to mention that. And then what happened? I tripped her onto the ground. Hilarious. Let's see. Okay, this now dives into everything that happened. This next section is going to have an he said, she said. You do not have to trust either side. Formulate your own opinions. During this entire trip, my back hurts. I feel like an old man. I also have, you know, like conversations with my friend Luna, in which, you know, I tell them like, oh, dude, my back's been fucking killing me this entire trip. And, you know, I'm sitting down. She's laying down on the bed. You know, I'm laid down on the ground and I'm watching the show. From here, it becomes a blur as to what happened. But Coco gets off, gets closer to me, hugs, and we start to cuddle. I don't care much, but I see her face in distress, and with the purest of intentions, and I'm not saying that this is okay to do just because my intentions were good. So do not take it that way. With the purest of intentions, and how my father and how my mother would comfort me when I would cry. I gave them kisses on the forehead, you know, things like that. But from that point, everything blurred. I know she grabbed my head and she pulled me into her neck, to which I didn't really want to kiss, but she was like shoving my face in her neck. I didn't want to do anything there. So let's see. Okay, so then I'd like to point this out. While this was happening, Coco was rubbing on my leg. And by rubbing, I mean, you know, her vagina. I was in denial. Admittedly, I should have pushed her off. I messed up there. I was in denial. I was like, maybe she's just trying to get comfortable. And, you know, I was just there. Eventually, I kind of like get up a little bit, and I'm like, okay, well, this is getting a bit weird. That's when Coco brushes my hair out of my side, looks me dead in the eyes, doesn't say a word. This moment lasts forever. It feels like it lasts forever. At most, what it could have happened was it was like half a second. But for me, it felt like years had just gone by. Pulled my hair out of my face, grabbed me by my face, like cupped my face, pulled me in, and forced her tongue down my throat. Started rubbing frantically on my leg as a way to sexually arouse herself. And she shifts her hands positions to like lock my head there with her. And this is when I fully regress. And I go back to that personality to I guess, save myself in a sense. And she tries positioning my hand on her ass. I pull away still. And I try to back out a little bit. I'm like, hey, this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. She tells me to shut up. Curious how she didn't say that in her document now that I'm reading forward. Did not mention that. Probably because she knew it would make her look bad. So in this, this whole thing, I regressed fully. After that, I had blurred out. And I know she pulled away. I know it happened again. And then she pulled away again. And she told me, like, I've been feeling like this since March 8th, from when we reconnected. And she then starts doing the same thing again, where she's never going to pull, and she's going to kill herself, this, that, and the third. And in this situation, I'd say, obviously I do feel that way. I didn't. I'm unproud. Things just happen. I'm sorry. And you may view me as awful for that. That's fine. But, Um, this, she looks at me dead in the eyes, and she's like, I ask her, she's like, oh, no. She's like, what do we do? And I'm like, I'm not sure. We'll figure this out together. This was me trying to follow up with my lie of earlier, stating that I felt the same way about her, which, again, obviously I did not. And, well, she grabbed my head again, locked me into a kiss, and again was rubbing up on me. And then her mother catches us. Okay. She goes, what are you guys doing? A very angered tone. I get up instantly. I snap out of it. I finally come back to reality. And I look at Coco. I look at her mom. And this moment in and of itself, it's also lasting 100 years. And I'm like, holy shit, what just happened? Oh, God. One thing I forgot to mention, actually, is that I have a hickey from it. Because I tried telling her to stop, she gave me a hickey. And I still have the photo of the hickey. I will attach it when I post this to Twitter. Admittedly, this recording will probably have to be chopped up, but or no, I'm going to. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send it in like a kind of slides thing, or maybe like a YouTube upload it, and then also post the picture of the hickey. So, you know, I get up. I tell Coco, do you want me to pick you up? And I'm super awkward about everything. Because, you know, this whole thing just happened. And, you know, pick her up. She goes to talk with her family. I start talking to Jackson. Because he walks in and he's like, what were you guys doing? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I fucked up. Obviously, I can't explain it to a kid what just happened. So I make up a story right then and there. Because he did see what was happening a little bit, and I try to make up a story. I didn't want to tell a 9-year-old, like, hey, this happened. You know, fucking Jackson, all in all, has been, like, the best part of the trip. Me and this kid have been, like, wrestling and fucking around. This guy's awesome. He's gonna grow up to be a really cool guy. Anyways, fucking, you know, I tell him, like, no, dude, I don't know. I'm gonna have to like leave the house, whatnot. Like I feel guilty. I don't want to take the car. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Coco's dad gave me his Mustang, like his 2002 Ford Mustang, as a car to drive around in, and he called it a shitter, right? So he didn't really care about it. My experience driving that car, beautiful. I wish I bought it from him. Sorry, I'm trying to make it this whole thing like a little bit more lighthearted than it is, because again, I'm trying to cope. But I had felt wrong taking the car again, so I was planning on ordering Uber. And as I'm ordering this Uber, you know, her father comes in. Hey, Jesse, can I talk to you in the other room for a second? Yes, of course, sir. He sits down, and he's like, so what were you two doing? And I try to, you know, maybe in some way I can pull out of this and save both me and Coco. So I was like, oh, it's just hugging. Obviously not. He calls it out. He's like, you guys weren't just hugging. Just admit it to me. I know what happened. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, this happened. We were kissing. He gets all supportive. He's like, well, if you want to court my daughter, that's fine. It's just like there's going to be new rules. You guys can't go out alone anymore. And you know, if you guys are going to be anywhere around the house, you're going to be in the living room. Okay. So I'm obviously taking this in, And this is with Coco believing that I do have I do love her and whatnot in that way. But in my head, I'm just like, no. Why the fuck did I say that? Whatnot. And I understand that, yeah, I was pressured into like doing something, but that definitely shouldn't have been the thing that I said. I acknowledge that. So, me and Coco, yeah, as we're sitting here, kind of getting like a little bit scolded by her father, but he's still being supportive. He's just like a little bit scoldy. He dismisses us. He goes, oh wait, no, he didn't just dismiss us just yet. Coco. Oh wait, no, I have to make a second recording. My FL starting to lag. Hold on. I'm so sorry for that. I know that's extremely unprofessional, and again, I just want to apologize, but my FL was about to crash, and if that happened, then I would have to re-record that whole thing all over again. But back where we were, he dismisses us, and no, forgetting something. As we're talking about it, he talks like, are you sure that there wasn't any feelings prior to that happening and that it just happened? Coco says, yes, that just happened, and I agree. I'm like, yeah, it just happened, knowing full well what happened, reiterating that she fucking, forced herself on me, whatever. And her father isn't really buying it, and so Coco escalates the situation. She doesn't say that's fine, it's okay if you don't believe us, but it did just happen. She didn't say that. You know what she says? She says, for fuck's sake, you were a teenager too. I don't understand why you don't understand. Why don't you listen to me? Okay, awkward. Her father turns to her and he goes, hey, we're all in good time here. Like, we're all in good vibe here. We're not arguing. We're not yelling at each other. Don't start yelling. And that's when Coco finally, like, backs off. He looks at me. He's like, okay, well, you two are both dismissed. If you want to court my daughter, that's fine by me. I am fine with whatever you guys decide to go through, just as long as we're involved in it. Super supportive. That guy's awesome, right? Anyways, he goes, Coco, you go back to your room. Jesse, for tonight, just head back to your hotel, man. I know that you look pretty roughed up. Just head back to your hotel. Okay. I head back to my hotel, and it's there where it finally sets in. Holy fuck. Coco just, fucking viscerally made out with me, and while it wasn't consensual shit, I still feel at fault. And now we're going to dive into the argument. Let's dive in. This starts off the same night. And I just go, what do we do? I'm so scared right now. I was genuinely convinced your dad was going to kill me. We're going to go back a little bit, actually, to when Ramon first got... yes, Ramon, like that Ramon, that guy Ramon, the one who made Feel the Fury and Break Free. By the way, I wanted to make that clear. That Ramon, don't involve him into this situation, but it is that Ramon. He didn't do anything. Want to be here to say this right now. He didn't do anything with Coco. Like, I was shown a lot of stuff. Dude, he dealt with the same thing that I did, where it was just like Coco stating that she was going to kill herself and whatnot and pushing him into a corner to say what she would want to hear. This is how we saw it, right? Coco would push Ramon into a corner into saying what she would want to hear and then weaponize it against him whenever they would get into arguments. But anyways, when he went to go visit, we had all made, we as in like me and him, we had made jokes like, oh dude, your dad's gonna like fucking shoot you with a shotgun and whatnot. And it was funny until, you know, like her dad went up to Ramon and was like, hey man, we should go hunting. Whoa. Yeah, okay. You know, we admittedly, that's when both of us were like, oh shit, you know, like don't go hunting, he's gonna leave you dead in the middle of the fucking woods. This was like 2 years ago, near 2 years ago now. And you know, fucking, so I had that impression from Coco's dad, and I was like, I was so convinced your dad was gonna like grab a fucking shotgun and just straight up blow my brains out right then and there. Like, and I was very much terrified. During that entire interaction, I was shaking profusely. I felt like I was a coward, you know. I was shaking. I couldn't formulate sentences properly. I was stuttering. I was bumping over my words, and you know, so I was terrified. She says, let me scroll back up. She's like, he's not that type. I'm sorry. I didn't want to drag you in this mental cycle of mental stuff. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I got myself into this. I outwardly lie to try and comfort Coco. And she's like, I just dragged you into the worst possible thing ever. You didn't get yourself into this. Got you into this. I should have just stayed back. I knew I had these feelings. I just never really said anything, but I also knew I had feelings for somebody else. I feel like I'm in between and I just really want to cry. And I'm like, me too, I guess, which lie. A lot of what I say during this night is a lie. If not all of what I say is a lie. I want to state that now. I straight up lie my ass off. And I acknowledge that this is wrong. You know, but I'm like, hey, listen, it's okay. We can figure it out. And she's starts profusely apologizing. I'm like, no, it's okay. Don't apologize. And she's like, I should have held back though. I mean, it's okay. I guess I should have pushed you off the second you did that. And she's like, I should have never dragged you in this mental fucking asylum. And I was like, it's okay. It's fine. Trust me, you don't ever want this. No one does. First time it was just me being obsessed with someone. Second time, I don't even know how I fucking feel. I mean, who the fuck has dreams like that? Which, by the way, for the respect of Coco, I will not dive into this dream of hers, but all you have to know for the baseline is that it involved me and Ramon, and you can draw your own conclusions from that. With what she just did to me, and with you know, prior knowledge, you can connect the dots. Whatever. I mean, I respond. I mean, I did, but we can figure out this together. You know, I promise. We'll talk more. And she's like, you did what? And I'm like, I've had dreams like that before, which I don't. I fucking don't. I'm lying off my ass. I've never had a dream like that. I can't express this enough. I'm lying off my ass. All as a way to try and comfort her and like be like, oh, I can relate to you, right? Like, I fucked up. I admit, like, I messed up. I fucked up like that. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just been like, no, this is odd. She's like, you were never like this. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. That's completely fair. I assume what she meant, but you were never like this meant you never forced yourself onto somebody. And I'm like, that's fair. Completely fair. But that won't stop me from trying to help. And she's like, having both feelings that are strong for both people, it's confusing as fuck. I feel like I feel strong for two people as well. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I'm just as lost. And I'm like, she goes, what do we do? I'm scared. I don't want to be like this anymore. I'm like, I'm scared too. I'm extremely scared. I don't know what to do, but as long as we stick together, we'll be fine, I think. You know, like, hold on. I'm going to stop the recording real quick. I have to ask something. I'm going to record this. Sorry for the cut. I had to ask something. For the past month or so, actually, how long has it been? I don't know. I have been talking with somebody. I have been flirting with her. and we have decided it was best to take our time and, not jump into a relationship. I had just gotten out of one, and I am not mentally stable for a relationship. I will admit that. I'm not a mentally stable person. I'm very much a broken person. That isn't to gain sympathy points on this, but, I've been talking with her. I've been flirting with her. Coco knows of this person. Her name is Luna. She's drawn me before. She's done my PNG tubers. She was just getting out of a relationship. I was just getting out of a relationship, and I left that previous relationship because I knew that I wasn't mentally stable. But as I got closer with Luna, I felt myself feeling these kinds of things, and same thing with her. So we made the decision, we're gonna take it slow. Coco knows of this person. I'm so sorry. I feel really guilty that I have to talk about this. But, I have to. And so what I say onwards back to the argument, as I say, don't tell anyone, because I knew that she was going to go tell Luna. Admittedly, that sounds like a fucking piece of shit thing to say. And I'm so sorry that I said that. I'm sorry. I'm getting like flashbacks to everything that happened, so I'm a little shaky right now. And she goes, I don't think I can tell anyone. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have dragged you into this. I know you're scared, but I don't know what to do. I'm not going to tell anyone. I don't think I can, but you need to talk to Luna. And I was like, I don't want to lose Luna. I'm extremely afraid. And she's like, don't lose her then. You'll lose. She says, don't lose her. You'll love her. So please just stay with her. I know who you care for. And to figure this out, just please don't ruin everything with someone you love deeply. I'm like, okay, well, I'm so confused, like here I am freaking out, and I fuck up exponentially here. As a way to keep up with my story, I get into the character. I'm an idiot for this. I shouldn't have done this. I see myself as disgusting for what I did there, and I'm going to further enforce myself and take the precautions to not do anything like that anymore. But I go, but what about you? And she goes, what do you mean me? Trust me, you don't want to be dragged in this mental cycle. And I was like, you say that, but Coco, I've been helping you here through this cycle. Sure, only with what you've given me, but I haven't really backed down. And here I'm also thinking, like, maybe I can help her. Right? But I can't, obviously. I'm just one man. She goes, I mean, look at Luna. Clearly she has her act together. Do you want to go through the fucking mental hospital when Ramon was dating me, like he even got depression? Do you want to go through that? And then she also goes, I mean, there's so many pros with Luna and just so many cons with me. Pros with Luna, yeah, it's not official, but she has told you multiple times that she loves you, and it's very clear that she cares about you. She does want to be in your life. It's clear that this is somebody that genuinely cares about you. Cons with me, I am in love with two people. That is not something that anybody wants in their life. I'm severely mentally ill. You even said it yourself. Me wants to keep dead bodies of my fucking ex. Oh, right. I completely forgot to mention this. During this whole trip, she has been talking about killing Ramon and having his dead body as like a taxidermied thing. Bit crazy. I would try to tell her to stop every time she did it, but she would push on for it. She goes, there's half the things I haven't told you about my fucking mental life. It's insane. To give you an example, many times I've thought about Ramon cutting me himself, and I thought it was attractive. I thought I had a little dream about... I had a little dream about it. Literal dream about it. Did I ever tell him? No. It's mental shit. Trust me, you have a lot of pros at Luna. There's no but you. I'm pretty sure you don't want another fucked up ex. And I'm just like, okay, I need some time to think. I've been stress eating, which is true. I did go to stress eat shortly after I had arrived to my hotel. I had driven out, and I had went to a Whataburger. It's going to make me sound like a fat goy. But but I had ordered a bunch of food and I had started to stress eat. I don't even need to tell you guys my order. All you need to know is just like it was a lot. Because all this thing that was happening, I was so confused. Everything happened like a blur. And she was like, wait, what else? She goes, okay. And I was like, okay, to give comfort, like I haven't had anything that bad happen to me, but I guess I do like being hurt, because the second you bit me, I went haywire, which is true, because when she bit me on my neck and she gave me a hickey. Again, I will be posting the picture. And I did go haywire. I made noises. I was not comfortable. I did not like to. I don't want to like. I don't want to like out myself here, but that's something. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. She was like, "But that's reasonable. Dreaming of someone cutting you, though, you can think about this. I'm telling you now, you don't want this." And I was like, one of my exes were into that. I'm just trying to comfort you here, which is true. One of my exes was very much into knife play. Not fun to deal with. I did get a cut from them once, and that's not, I've experienced it before. I talk about the person, and Coco goes, I mean, it's doesn't mean that it's good. They were a horrible person. And even then, they're not like me. I don't want to cut into anybody. There's a lot of things that I want to be done to me. They're not good. And it's also because I'm suicidal. It's one of my top dreams to die from someone I love painfully or non-painfully. And having confusing feelings about two different people, one who left you and one who's literally going through something that's nothing that anybody wants. So don't say anything like you're making excuses because of me. Especially what happens if Ramon does come back and texts me. I don't want to think about it, and I don't want to be in a space to pick. I hate deciding things because I know it hurts someone at the end. So I let the other person choose. I know you will most likely say that Ramon will never come back, and I agree, but there's also strong feelings towards him you hate. Which, because this is something that I want to say, Ramon and we did have a falling out. And I did not like him for a long portion of time. We were practically brothers, but due to something that happened that had Coco in the middle of it, we broke off and we stopped being friends. But as of recently, actually the night of that I had gotten assaulted, I had reached out to him and we reconnected, that's why I came to Ramon's defense earlier, saying that he really didn't do anything. It was very clear that from what I saw, it was clear that Coco is very much just a troubled mind. But this isn't me saying like Ramon was an angel during his situation, and if he wants to talk about his situation, he will in due time. He admits that he's not an angel. Nobody is, right? We make mistakes. We say things we don't really mean. And with Ramon, he does that a lot. But in his defense, he's grown from it. And as a matter of fact, he was the one to pull the plug on Coco because he didn't want to see them mentally deteriorate as they were when they were with him. And he did all this for the betterment of Coco. But this is where the conversation ends. I talk to Luna. I tell her what happened. Luna's fucking furious that this happened. Right. And, well, I tell her, like, the whole truth. Like how I'm telling you guys now, I tell her this. She's furious. She wants to say something, but she doesn't. The general consensus among everybody that I have spoken to is that even though I had regressed to that point, that was still sexual assault, and Coco had sexually assaulted me. And you know, the next morning I text her, "Hey, are you holding up okay?" She's like, "Please tell me you talked to Luna." I did. Were you honest? Yeah, I'm just here now. What is gonna happen? What do we do? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, how are you holding up? Did your family talk to you more? She's like, not well. No, I know you already talked to Luna, but I need to as well. It's a respectful thing to do. And I'm like, well, I'm on call with her, so I've been here. You know, you can go ahead and talk to her. And she's just like, what? Why? And I've been like, well, I've been on call with her since the night. She's like, what did she say? And I was like, she was just upset, reasonably so. I apologize again. She goes, understandable. Look, I don't really know what to say. I'm not holding up well, though. I should have caught on. There's a reason why my cousin wanted me to go to the bathroom. They wanted me to talk to me about you, holding hands. I should have just backed off, especially knowing how mentally ill I am. Okay. Again, this never happened. They never stated, hey, I want to go to the bathroom. And even then, it feels like a really weird thing for me to say no to them going to the bathroom. What the fuck? If you guys want to go to the bathroom, go to the fucking bathroom. I don't understand why, like, there's, I know what time frame that was. I want to go back there real quick. We played air hockey. I kicked Coco's ass, and I kicked Jackson's ass. And then we were passing by the bathrooms to play this Connect 4 game, in which, you know, I swiped the card, and then I watched Coco's cousin and her play Connect 4. Basketball Connect 4, something like that. That was it. That was the only time we were close to the bathrooms, so we had left after that. Actually, no, I think I went one more round on the UFC machine, but regardless, we had left after that. And we had gone to the main mall, in which that's where Coco was extremely, like, nervous and whatnot. And I want to make this a point. I don't think I said this. I'll probably review my recording, even though it's an hour long. Every time we were, like, just there, she would grab onto my hand and, like, squeeze it as tight as she could. It hurt for a bit, but, you know, I didn't really mind. I'm gonna make another recording as FL starting to lag out again. Back to... I'm so sorry that this recording had to be split up. My FL simply can't handle anything that is, you know, longer than 2 minutes. I'm very sorry. You know, let me... I should have just backed off, especially knowing how mentally ill I am. And I was like, I had no idea you felt that way, but if I did, I would have backed off. We did have a talk. I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm so sorry if I'm going back over and over and over again. I don't know if I mentioned this. We did have a talk shortly after. And, you know, she was a... No, I did mention this. I'm so sorry. I know I'm very, like, everywhere right now. But I put this on my career as a voice actor. Everything that's coming out of my mouth is wholehearted. I've worked hard for this career, and I wouldn't trade it in just to lie on someone. This is what's happened. You know, it was like I had no idea you felt that way. If I did, I would have backed up. That's why I wanted to know. It's like, that's a thing. Would have you backed off? You stopped referring to me as kid. That's what you said last night, and everything you said last night, I don't know. I'm sorry, but I feel like it's common knowledge. But I should have, you know, have to. I don't know what that says. I can't make sense of it. I'm sorry. She goes, I can't just blame my mental illness for this. It's my fault as well. And I was like, I don't know either. I say things on impulse to please other people, and a lot of it I just said on the spot, especially that kid thing. Yeah, I stopped calling her kid, but it was shortly after she had shook me and told me I'm gonna kill myself again. Same thing that she's always been telling me this entire trip. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm not gonna pull anybody. I'm gonna kill myself. Everybody thinks I'm a kid. And so I was like, well, if you don't want to be called a kid, don't act like a kid, right? And you know, I told him like, okay, well, I'll stop referring to you as kid if you really hate it that much. And you know, she's like, okay, that's fine, cool. So I stopped referring to her as kid. You know, so yeah, that was my truest intention, to abide by Coco's comfortability. And I was like, truth is, I told you that I shouldn't have told, like, not that I shouldn't have told, that you should not let other people call you kid, because I wanted you to have more initiative. You were complaining about it, and I wanted you to have more initiative. I wanted you to stop letting yourself get fucked over when you express such a distaste for it. I tried my best to comfort you, but frankly, I ain't the smartest. I say shit to say shit. I really am. I don't want to be put on a pedestal for this situation. Please don't put me on a pedestal. Just because I've worked on like countless projects that you may recognize me on, do not put me on a pedestal. I'm a fucking idiot. But I respond to her saying, I feel like it's common knowledge. And I was like, I couldn't tell. I thought, because one thing that she did say was like, oh, you got me used to something. And I was like, oh, well, I assume it's probably like physical affection, I guess. You were opening up more to me. So that's why I was all snarky. You know, I was snarky a bit. I was like, yeah, you seem to be really touchy to Coco back when she pinned me up against the wall in the museum. You know, I was like, you seem to be really touchy, and I was like very like cocky. I was like, oh, you're getting used to physical affection, and whatnot. And that's when she told me to shut up and like squeeze tighter, blah blah blah. You know, she's so I was snarky. I was confident. I was like, yeah, I helped somebody in a really good way, and now like this is awesome, right? I'm an idiot for thinking that way. I'm sorry. And she's like, look, I don't really know what to say to this, and frankly, I just feel like a bad person. I don't know how to defend myself right now, and I know that when you bit me, and me just even hinting, I don't know what to say. The bite regarding to the art museum bite, I'm saying it like it's a FNAF thing. Like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I said that. Jesus Christ. I know I should carry myself with more professionalism. But when I'm freaking out like this, I find it hard, and I am trying to say everything as it is. I'm very sorry if I make jokes. I know I keep apologizing for them, but I'm just very sorry. It's not that I'm not taking it seriously. I will preface this again. It's not that I'm not taking it seriously. It's that I'm just trying to comfort myself while I record this. I'm very sorry. As we continue, she goes, I feel like everything's my fault, and if you were just saying those things and everything you did was just a lie, I just feel lied to again. And I was like, that's fair. I won't discredit your emotions, but I don't want you to feel like you're a bad person. This is me speaking with my whole heart and not on impulse to make you feel better. Listen, people make mistakes, and it's what makes us human. And she's like, well, I shouldn't have let you get physical with me, but I was, and I was doing the same thing. And I was like, I respond to my other message where I say, like, people make mistakes. I'm like, sure, this one's quite the grave mistake, but it can still be mended. Remember what I said about things being able to fix if both parties are willing? Well, I'm still willing, which is something that I stated back when Coco and I reconnected. I had spent 3 hours yelling her fucking ear off, calling her an idiot because of everything that happened and how she dared to, like, she pushed me, like, admittedly, her and the group, like, she went back with Ramon and whatnot, and admittedly that group and Moon, or Coco, had pushed me, and like what they did, had pushed me into a deep, dark depression. I stopped going to the gym for a minute. I picked up bad eating habits, and I'm doing better now, obviously. I was going through a deep, dark fucking depression. But when we reconnected, I had said, well, despite me being insanely upset at you that you had the balls to push me into a depression and then proceed to contact me saying that I was right. I'm still willing to mend this. I'm still willing to do anything that I can to help. That's something that I said. You know, so I say that I'm like, well, you can mend this if both parties are willing. Well, I'm still willing. So it's not like this. I do want to say this as well. It's not like this wasn't, we both agreed for this to go public. No, she just did that without even talking to me further. But she goes, I'm willing, but I can't get that out of my mind. I feel like a horrible person. Honestly, I just feel lied to. Even right now, I feel like I'm being lied to. I can't express it right now, so maybe later on. I don't know what to do. I just don't know how to feel right now. I mean, I technically kissed somebody who I saw as a father figure. That's straight up incest. I let someone bite me. I let somebody hold my hand. You grabbed my hand! Sorry. That long when I don't even like physical touch. Then you should have pulled away. You literally should have just let go. And in which cases, yeah, she did let go. Yeah, like other times, yeah, she did let go. And what happened after that? Okay, cool. We would just continue walking. And then she would grab it again. Like, whatever, bro. I guess I'm in the fault for that. And she's like, I let it all happen. I didn't even say anything. I knew I didn't want it to happen. At the same time, I didn't know what to do, especially with the feelings of the dream. I feel like such an idiot. And I'm like, okay. Oh, fuck, I forgot to read up a sentence. But before this, I want to preface this. I'm a fucking weirdo. Yeah. I'm gonna also say that I'm just a fucking weirdo. What me and my friends do, we're fucking weird. We're odd. We're stupid. We're young and stupid. We do shit that we find hilarious, but is weird to other people. What is one thing that we do? Hey man, think fast. Stabs the back of your fucking throat with a finger. Yeah, we think that's fucking hilarious. I did that to Coco once. Found out she doesn't have a gag reflex. I felt disgusted. I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do that joke again. That's, you know, so I admitted that was bad. Shit, I shouldn't have treated her like she was one of my friend group from back home. 'Cause yeah, it's funny to us. It's hilarious to us. We find it like the most funniest fucking thing ever. Hey man, think fast. Boom. You're dying on the ground now. We think it's hilarious. I shouldn't have done that. And I admit that. I go, she goes like, I shouldn't have let that happen, even when I don't like physical touch. And, you know, you shoved your fingers down my throat. And I was like, well, okay, I jabbed you. But, you know, I admit that's far as hell. What I did was wrong, but that wasn't because I wanted you, but because I was just messing around. I was trying to make you gag the same way that I do it with my friend group, you know, like I do with friends IRL. We've done it before, and it's funny as hell to us, but I should have taken precaution with you and the whole touch thing. You know, like, I do that a lot as well, which was, like, you know, the hugs and whatnot, which I do that a lot. I do it a lot. I got used to doing a lot of these things years back, and I'm sorry for treating you as if you were part of that journey, you know, take some time for yourself. I'm not going to see you for the rest of the trip. I admittedly need some time for myself as well after what happened. I keep staring at the mirror, looking at the hickey that she gave me. I feel awful too, but we can reconnect and talk about this further at a later date if you'd like. She goes, I'll think about it. But at the same time, I think you should realize this just because you do that with your friends IRL doesn't mean that you should do it with somebody else. I explicitly stated that in the message prior. Why are you using it against me? Anyways, I act like that with my friends who are women. Okay, so she admits that she does the same thing with her other friends, which my friend group has men and women. So, you know, my bad. I don't know. What do we gain from adding the genders of our friend groups? Anyways, I should have told you to back off, but at the same time, I need to understand that this isn't all my fault. I need you to understand that this isn't all my fault. Some of it, yes, but you also understood how mentally fucked up I am. And even if you said those things on the spot, you knew me for such a long time, just like you said, that I take everything to heart. I'm sorry again. Thinking about this more often, if I'm hanging out with somebody, I'm not going to constantly think to myself, holy shit, they're mentally insane. I'm sorry, but I do want to put the listener into this situation. Would you have continued to think about that? And don't tell me a lie, because there's some of you that would, and there like most of you likely wouldn't. I'm like, I know I fucked up, and I feel heavily guilty for everything that's happened. Again, I don't want you to feel like you're solely at fault. Both parties messed up, and I'd like to apologize profusely for everything that's happened. She's like, I'm sorry, I just feel used. I don't feel safe. And I'm like, that's fair. I honestly feel the same with the hickey you gave. But I know it was neither of our intentions to do this. I'll follow you what you decide to do. I'm open to anything. What do you mean you feel used? This is me letting my whole heart out. What the fuck do you mean you... Let me control myself. I need to be professional. You force yourself onto me, and then you state that you feel used. I apologize, but help me grasp the situation. Help me here to understand. Maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am, but I don't see how. You can say if you're the same, but I don't think you understand. Let you bite me in the museums. The fucking, yeah. The one bite that I apologized profusely for, and that you said was fine. And you were avidly like saying like, oh, it's fine, and trying to comfort me. Okay. She goes, I let you kiss me multiple times all over my face. The fucking forehead and the top of the head, like the scalp. Okay. Fair enough. You know what? Still, that can still be used against me. That's fine. You know, I get it. I shouldn't have done that. I let you hold my hand. Hey, you grabbed onto my hand first. I want to keep that apparent. Even while in the movie theater, I let you hold on to me, and I let you pin me to a wall. Okay. That wall, I literally explained it. Like, but whatever. I let you hold on to me. My bad. I need something to hold on to when in horror movies. I'm a coward. I'm a bitch. I'm sorry. I can't handle fucking movies. Like, I can't handle horror movies. It just gets too much for me, and I want to gag and cry. And yes, you did let me hug you for such a long time. Well, you just let me hug you and not let go. You let me hug you while we're at the wall. Which was, I guess, I don't know what the fuck this sentence is, but I guess is her way of trying to tell me that I let her pin me to a wall. Hugging me. Something that also happened is that whenever we would roughhouse, I made it very clear that I had no interest in her, right? There would be times where, you know, as we're roughhousing, I accidentally graze her chest, and I feel disgusted. I would recoil, and I would just apologize profusely. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't intentional. You know, like, I made it very clear, like, I'm disgusted by that. She goes, I let you pin me to the bed as you were hugging me. Okay, that never happened. What? Okay. The only times that I can think of that, like, where I've fucking ever put her on the bed was when I was getting tag teamed by both Jackson and Coco. Again, Jackson is awesome. Love him. You know, and so what did I do? I would push Jackson. I would put him in a headlock, and I would push him onto the bed while I dealt with Coco, or vice versa. I would put Coco in a headlock and push onto the bed while I would deal with Jackson. You know, like, it's simple roughhousing. And it was fun. It was absolutely fun. Even while we were at the floor, I was hugging you, letting it happen, and I even clanged on. I should have pushed away. I should have snapped out of it, but instead I lifted my head up and I let you. I let myself as well. Even after panicking and crying, I let you still kiss me, and I kissed you. What the fuck am I? Did we just forget that you pushed my hair out of my face and then forced yourself on me in like the span of a second? I'm sorry. I'm trying to like argue this as if she's here right now. I'm sorry. I need to regain my composure. You know, Like, I understand but when you would grip tightly at me or wrap around me and bury your face in my chest, I should have pushed away. But again, I've had it happen so many times, I didn't really bat an eye. The pin against the wall was inexcusable as well. Again, I do that in general. So, like, I'm sorry. It's all the same situation. I saw you were in distress, and I thought what was best based on what has comforted me before. But I shouldn't have treated you like you were me, obviously. And I was like, the accidentally touching your chest, hell, even I felt grossed out. You saw me flinch whenever I'd realized that. And the pins on the bed weren't what you thought they were. They aren't some kind of hint telling you that I'm in love with you. It's just something that I did for fun. I did it to Jackson. You know, like, I did it to him first before even getting close to you. Because it's true, when I first saw Jackson, our first instinct was, we're two dudes, we're gonna brawl. All right? It's there was that. And I outwardly say this. Don't feel guilty for anything that's happened. Our body simply froze up and didn't know what to do. That's okay. We both did something wrong. This is me trying to, like, make excuses for Coco while also making excuses for myself, I guess, for not pushing off. And then making excuses for Coco for shoving me into that fucking kiss and holding me there. And telling me to shut up when I tried to tell him to stop, okay? You know, there's no turning back time, unfortunately. If I could, I definitely would, and I'd stop myself from doing anything that you had mentioned. I'm sorry. It's inexcusable what I've done. What I did was downright wrong. There's nothing I can say at all to even try to explain what happened, and I'm taking full responsibility, as I am with all the other actions I've committed. That last sentence, I want to state that you aren't. As that last sentence, I want to state that you aren't anything bad. You're a good person through and through. We just did some stupid shit, and that's okay. We're still young, and that's what life is about. We learn from what we experience and live through. I don't want you to feel like you're anything bad because of this. I want you to realize that it was a fault on both ends. And whether or not we make up for it is up to time and fate. I acted with you like how I acted with my friend group, which, granted, my bad. I shouldn't have treated, like, the chicks that are in my friend group are the end-all be-all, right? I shouldn't let that dictate how I acted with you, and I'm so sorry for everything that happened. And she goes, can I ask you, where do you think I messed up? I'm sorry. I just want to realize all the things I did. Keep this in mind. Okay. Well, brushing my hair to the side and going in, I froze up the second you did. Telling me to shut up when I tried to talk you out of it and pulling me in again. Burying your face into my chest while hugging me multiple times, which normally I don't care about because friends do it, but I guess that's something. And here I try to tell her, like, not speaking up about what you were feeling ever since March. Because if you were feeling this, why didn't you bring it up to me? You know, like, and outright here, I state something that I try to take the blame for grabbing Coco's hand when I had simply offered it. I was like, you need to hold it? I'm right here, bro. You need something to hold because I know holding brings comfort to people. It's like a stress ball. So I stated that I grabbed. No, I didn't. You know, I'm sorry. I was like, I guess the whole mall thing, I grabbed your hand to comfort you since I knew it was a sensitive place, but if you knew what you were feeling then, dead honest, you should have slapped me in the fucking face because now I feel like a dickhead. A lot of it has to do with not speaking up. You've been feeling this way since March. We're in June now. Like, you know, now I just feel like a huge dickhead. Also, not telling me this secret of yours. You hinted at it, but in my head, I was like, oh, well, it's not that serious. They maybe they were like getting accustomed to me and whatnot and going out because I knew that prior to this, Coco's a fucking shut-in. Coco admits to me herself that she doesn't go outside. She's very mentally unwell. She doesn't do anything outside. And hell, in a place like Texas, I don't know why the fuck you would go outside in the first place. So that's a jab at the heat. I'm sorry. I guess another thing that I thought was weird was when she played with my hair. I completely forgot to mention this situation. At least I think I forgot to mention this situation. I was dealing with family issues while on this trip, and the cops were called to my location by my family. They were simply worried about me. They were they hadn't seen my location update in a minute, so they were worried. But I had argued with one of my family members, and they had just told me to move out. So I was dealing with, like, oh shit, I may be out of a home when I get home. Sorry, I'm drinking water in the middle of this. Talking for this long really does something to my throat. And so again, what do? I start scratching myself softly, just to give myself comfort. I'm thinking to myself, I reach out to my other friends, hey, I may go homeless after this trip. You guys think you could help me out? Like, I'll buy the plane tickets and whatnot and move over. I just need all the help that I can get. And I've had, 2 people be like, yeah, we got you, bro. One of them being my sister, Becca. My online sister, right? She's so close to me, she's like a sister. So, yeah, but I'm still stressing out about this. I'm like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna make this work? Yeah, I got cash, but how long can I live off that cash? I'm trying to calculate everything, and I'm stressing out. And so I sit down and I start scratching myself while also looking at my assets. I look at my stocks. I look at what I have in savings. I look at everything. And as I'm looking at everything, Coco gets off of her chair, playing Street Fighter, comes up to me, and starts playing with my hair. I made it very clear I don't really like people touching my hair, but I didn't really mind. Again, I didn't really care because it was Coco. Here I thought, you know what, well, that's fine. I still find it weird, but it's fine. Coco starts playing with my hair. And after a second, I'm just like, no, it's too weird. I pull away. And I'm like, well, don't do that. That's weird. Why are you doing that? And she's like, well, I'm just trying to help you because you seem to be going through like a freak out episode. I just want to help you. It's better to have somebody there to comfort you. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Don't play with my hair. And she's like, I think you find it weird because you never had any physical affection in your life. Whoa! Ouch! Dick. That just hurt. Bit of an odd sentence to say. True, but whatever, I guess. I say that. I was like, it's weird that you played with my hair. Much as I don't care about it now, I know it can be odd to some other people, which it's because I state this because when I was talking to Luna and I was talking to Becca, they were both like, yeah, that's fucking weird. Like that's straight up weird. That's super weird. Like that's not something that you do if you see somebody as a father figure. And then I say, you knew I was a Luna. You didn't speak your mind out of fear of ruining things when this could have blown over had you just talked about it. You had time to talk about it. You said you had these feelings since we reconnected. Sure, it may have been awkward for a bit, but we wouldn't be in this predicament right now. Thank you for telling me things that I did wrong. I'll continue to strive for better and do better. I'm sorry for everything. And she goes, I understand what you're saying. You're right that if I had told you everything sooner, some of this could have been avoided. Not even some of this, bro. The entire thing. I take responsibility for that. I shouldn't have dropped hints instead of having a direct conversation. And I shouldn't have let things continue without setting clearer boundaries. But I also don't think it's fair that all the responsibility to be placed on me. When did I do that? When did I do that? You had explicitly told me to tell you what you did wrong, and then you're using it against me. What the fuck? Okay, she goes, you said that if you had known what I was feeling, things would have been different. The problem is I wasn't comfortable sharing it. You were actively trying to get me to tell you even after I wasn't ready. Yes, because when you're shoving into my face that you have a secret about me, I'm going to press about it. You don't just drop that on a fucking person and expect them to not be direct and like be like, hey, what the hell is a secret? Like that's whatever. That's why I started hinting instead of being direct. It wasn't healthy, but it came from me trying to avoid a conversation I wasn't ready to have. We have to take conversations that we're not ready to have. That's a part of life. That's what we have to do. And if it prevents somebody getting sexually assaulted by you, then I feel like this is a conversation that should have been had. Moving on. At the same time, there were things that made me uncomfortable that I feel like you're overlooking. You keep saying some of your behaviors, behaviors normal with your friends. Maybe it is, but I don't think that automatically means it was appropriate here. I just said that! I said that! You're using my own words against me! You knew I was mentally struggling. You knew I had attachment issues and complicated feelings. I knew you had attachment issues. Don't use that against me here. I'm mentally struggling. I have attachment issues. Don't use it against me. This isn't a battle of who's more mentally ill than the other. Don't try to make it seem that way. And the complicated feelings, you had simply told me. No, you didn't even just tell me. You had went, I have a secret. I have a secret against you. I have a secret. I have a secret. I have a secret. I have a secret. Shoving this down my face. How the fuck am I not supposed to like shove this, like press you about this? I even tried to talk about things before all this happened. No, you didn't. No, you didn't! There was me trying to communicate discomfort without outright saying this. In the car, I got quiet. We were quiet in the car regardless. If there was nothing to talk about, we were quiet in the fucking car. Is this a crazy... am I crazy? Sorry, I know I just went from professional to like full-on batshit crazy. What's happening here? At the movie theater, I would pull my hand away and it would be pulled back. That never happened. There were times I wanted space and didn't know how to ask for it directly. You look at me and you go, hey, I want space. Okay. Because I didn't want to ruin the time we were spending together. I had also made this a point that you could tell me this without ruining the time that you could spend together, because there were multiple times that she had hugged me and done the same thing, and I had explicitly just went, hey, don't do that right now. And what would happen? Coco would be like, oh, okay, that's fine. Get away from me, and we'd still have a glorious time. So this is very clear that, like, you could have told me something, and you know, nothing would have happened. I would have just been like, okay, I'm out of here. I know I should have spoken up more clearly. That's on me. But I don't think it's fair to act like there were no signs at all. I never said there were no signs! I don't know if I read the rest of my message. I had stated, where is it? Where's this message? Where's this message of mine? Did I say it more forward? Okay, no, yeah, this is a more forward conversation. Okay, so I never said that there were no signs, but I let her explain herself. Before this happened, I was already talking to other people about how often you held my hand. You grabbed me! Okay, sorry. Part of me found comfort in it, but another part of me felt like you never wanted to let go. You were the only one tightening your grip, by the way. I just want to make that clear. You were the only one tightening your fucking grip. And the only times that I tightened my grip, it was when you would tell me to hold your hand. Or, like, grip the shit out of me to the point where it hurt. Even when you were trying to help me through anxiety, there were times where it felt like I wasn't being allowed to handle things on my own. You let go! All you have to do is let go. And I wouldn't have batted an eye. Because I was, and hell, even I let go. Like, I would break my hand off of her just to go mess around with Jackson. But fuck it, I guess I'm in the fault. Whatever. This is making me mad just reading it. What hurts right now? It feels like you're focusing entirely on my mistakes while minimizing your own. What? 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 You told me to tell you what you did wrong. Okay, whatever. You admit that something's felt off. You admit that you were pushing for answers. Yet, even while feeling something was off, you continued doing it. I didn't know what I was fucking feeling, dude. I was in confusion because when you're avidly telling, I'm just going to repeat myself. When you're repeating something to me, I'm going to dig up for answers. And when you're not telling me, I'm going to think all sorts of things. But I'm not going to think the worst because I've known you for 3 years. I'm not going to think the fucking worst. I'm not going to think like, oh, that maybe she has a crush on me. No, because if in 3 years you have not once expressed any fucking taste for me, then why the fuck would I think that? Whatever. What confuses me even more is that some of the things you're saying now don't match what you said back then. You kissed me. False. You kissed me. You forced yourself onto me. But I did kiss your head. Fair enough. I guess that could also be used against me as well. Kissed my neck. You forced me there. You shoved my head in there. Let's not act like we didn't. You told me you felt the same way. Out of impulse. I'm a fucking idiot. I've already apologized for that. You stopped referring to me as kid because of those feelings. No. You had yelled at me that you don't like being called a kid. And you don't like being seen as a kid. And that nobody's going to take you seriously. And that you're going to kill yourself if you're not taken seriously. So I stopped referring to you as kid. Simple as that. Now you're saying those feelings weren't real, and I honestly don't know what to believe anymore. I'm not trying to say you're a bad person. I'm not trying to pretend I did nothing wrong. I know I made mistakes. I know I should have communicated better and set stronger boundaries, but I need you to understand that this wasn't entirely my fault either. Okay, that's what I've been saying this entire time, that it wasn't entirely your fault. Guys, I shouldn't have had to fight harder to be heard. You didn't fight at all! Anyways, I shouldn't have had to reveal every private thought, which was the dream, fear, or emotion before my discomfort mattered. There were signs, there were conversations, there were moments where I pulled away. There were no conversations. The conversations were just me, hey, tell me your secret. No, I don't want to tell you my secret. Why not? Because I don't want to. Dude, we can't be serious. Okay, whatever. No, I actually defend myself in the next message. I don't even have to say anything. I know you're probably not intentionally doing that, but at the same time, that's how it feels right now. Right now, I just feel used. You forced yourself onto me. And even if you're saying that you're taking some of the responsibility, it doesn't sound like it. What? I was just someone who doesn't really want to share that information, and I just wanted to have a good trip. I'm sorry. This is what I say in return. I'm not trying to minimize my own actions. I'm sorry that this is the way that I executed things. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with me. I should have done better. And I will strive for better going forward. As for the movie theater, I didn't really notice it much because I'm being so serious. When I say I was fucking frightened to my core. And this is when I tell her, like, straight up, yeah, I get squeamish around horror movies. I'm a bitch. Like, I'm just a little bitch, and I needed something to hold on to. Right? My bad. You didn't offer your plushie. You lied about that. And then you never pulled away. So let's not... Whatever. Let's not try to frame this as if I was just some forceful guy. I should have asked if I could do that. And I'm sorry I didn't. And I'm sorry that I didn't speak out for my emotions either. I take the fault on that as well. Please don't try framing your chest burials as simply resting. I noticed your grip tighten, and you would get deeper into my chest. By the way, usually, whenever I have people do this to me, they shift their side to the face, right? Their side to the face, their face to the side. Sorry. They shift their face to the side, and, they do that. It's just a tight hug, right? Coco looked me dead in my fucking chest and shoved her face like, those memes where no, how do I explain this? Just like straight face forward into my chest, right? That happened. I noticed you digging deeper into my chest. That isn't resting, and I know it isn't because I've had people your size give me hugs as well. I'm also not saying it is entirely your fault. I'm saying I fucked up as well. I did shit I'm insanely unproud of, and I'm telling you to reveal your dream I'm not telling you to reveal your dream to establish yourself. I'm telling you to simply go, hey, I've been feeling this way. Please back off, because otherwise, I don't understand. This is true. This remains true because once you told me you didn't like being called a kid, I tried my best to abide by it. And when I let it slip out, you corrected me. And I'm sorry I didn't take your signs. I don't know how it slipped past me. I didn't see any of the signs, and it's my fault. I get it. I wish I could turn back time to stop myself and take notice. This trip wasn't entirely ruined. I don't want to think that. All in all, this was a fun trip and a good experience, but that last part was just an issue. I had fun with you. I enjoyed my time with you, and as for what I said, again, I truly stopped referring to you as kid because you expressed distaste for it, nothing more. What I had said last night was because I didn't know how to comfort you in this situation. I fucked up severely by talking on impulse. Take full responsibility for these actions. I did not mean to minimize. I had simply wanted to provide context as to why I did things, but I understand your view and will improve upon myself. She goes, I appreciate that you've apologized for some things and acknowledged mistakes, but I feel like there's something that you're not fully understanding. I agree that I should have communicated more clearly. I should have set stronger boundaries. I should not have relied on hints when I wasn't ready to talk about what I was feeling. I've taken responsibility for that. The whole hints thing, again, I'm sorry that I didn't notice them, but full honesty, this is common with other people that I see with neurodivergency. You have to be honest. Like, we don't pick up on hints. I have a friend with autism. It's shit. Even he backed me up here. He was like, yeah, no, the fucking people with neurodivergency, they're not gonna know. You know, like, they're not gonna pick up on it. You have to outwardly tell them. And even other people that I've talked to, they've defended me here. They're like, yeah, you have to outwardly tell them, like, what they're doing is wrong, or your boundaries, whatnot. You can't just, quote unquote, give hints. Even if you didn't know exactly what I was feeling, there were still actions that happened. You kissed me. Okay, you're making it seem like I kissed you in the fucking mouth. No, I didn't. I treated you like how how a father treats his kid. You made comments about my body. You fucking shoved me into a corner. You held my hand repeatedly. I did not tell you to grab my hand. I simply offered it, and you would grab it. Let's not try and twist shit. If you were uncomfortable, I trusted your words. In the same way, I don't think it's fair to act like there were no signs for me simply because I wasn't direct enough. I never said that! Throughout the trip, I was trying to create distance in ways that felt natural and non-confrontational. I pulled my hand away, only to re-grab my hand 3 seconds later. I didn't mention this. We were at the mall with just me and Jackson, I think. Again, we went there. And she saw like a stand with a bunch of plushies on it, and so she grips the fuck out of my hand and starts like dragging me over there. And I'm just like, whoa, I'm off balance. I knock on my ass. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, so whatever, I guess that happened. Don't believe me of Coco taking my hand. That also happened. I wish I could go back there and get like fucking camera footage. Cause like, holy shit. When you agreed to watch the horror movie, I believe when you said you were okay, offered my plushie and you turned it down. That never happened. If you were uncomfortable, I trusted your words. Oh wait, no, I'm reading back. I'm so sorry. I fucked up. I fucked up on reading this. In the same way, I don't think it's fair to act like there were no signs because I wasn't directed enough. Throughout the trip, I was trying to create... Okay, I'm trying to catch up to where I was before. I'm so sorry. Were those perfect forms of communication? No, I've already admitted that. But I don't think that means there were no signs at all. What hurts the most is that I feel confused and honestly used. How? You forced yourself onto me! Oh, sorry. I didn't say this out loud. I didn't want to. Yeah, by the way, fucking her pussy juices leaked onto me. Like, it went right through her pants and leaked onto me. Went right through my shorts and went onto me. I still feel it. I cleaned myself countless times. I still feel it. Anyways, there were things you said and did that made me believe one thing, and now I'm being told something different. You kissed me. She brings up this point as if I didn't just... it was your scalp! Sorry, it was your fucking scalp. I'm sorry for getting loud. It was your scalp, bro. You made comments that made me think that there were feelings involved. My bad. I'm sorry. I said shit on impulse. I'm fucking sorry. I've already apologized for that. You stopped referring to me as kid around the same time because you had yelled at me. Now I'm being told these things meant something else, and I genuinely don't know what to believe anymore. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm not saying this is all your fault. I know I made mistakes too. What I'm asking for is acknowledgement that the situation wasn't created by one person. I said that. We both contributed to it. I said that. We both missed things. I said that. We both made assumptions. I said that. We both failed to communicate at times. Yes. Okay, awesome. Glad we're on the same page. accepted responsibility for my part. I need you to understand that your responsibility shouldn't depend entirely on whether I give you the perfect information. Information doesn't have to be perfect. But when you're literally giving nothing, then what the fuck is that? I'm sorry. Right now I feel hurt, confused, and stuck. I feel like I'm carrying guilt for things I did nothing wrong while also trying to process things that hurt me. I'm not asking you to what? I'm not asking you to take all the blame. I'm asking you to recognize that there were choices you made that affected me too. In which I did. But she doesn't want to take it for an answer. Anyways, I will talk to Luna about this later. It's the right thing that I can do. I just don't want to be that girl. Luna outwardly goes, it's your way past that point. You're already that girl. Like, you know, I'm sorry, I had to drink again. So, you know, I'm like, I never stated that there were no signs. I'm not trying to make it seem that way. I outright acknowledge that my brain had simply walked over it, which was my own fault. Please don't try to make this seem like I'm not taking responsibility when I acknowledge it happened, and I'm trying to take responsibility, and I was wrong for it in the previous message. I also didn't state that I didn't understand your signs, and again, I'm not telling you to reveal your every secret to me. I'm not telling you to tell me every little thought. I'm not telling you to tell me your little Wattpad dream. I'm saying simply speak up. A simple don't do that or back up would have sufficed. Which this applies to me as well. I want to make that clear. Please do not try to use this against me. I also take full responsibility for not speaking up about the horror movie, but I also did drop a lot of hints when I didn't want to watch it, that I didn't want to watch it by being adamant about watching the MJ biopic, which again, the hint was not a good way to communicate. I should have spoke up, and I should have said, I don't want to watch that movie, which I'm sorry I didn't speak up about it. Which... yeah, again, I'm sorry. That's genuine. I'm sorry I didn't speak up. I should have said something instead of just being like, oh, I want to watch the MJ movie and making a whole argument. I should have just said, hey, I don't want to watch the Backrooms movie. I really don't. I don't. The movie was good, by the way. I know this is off topic. I'm trying to make myself feel better. It's a pretty good movie. I made the comment on your body on customization for SF6. That's true. It was wrong for me to do that. And I'm not going to bother with my explanation because I knew it was going to... I say this because I knew it was going to be used against me. But do also note that even when I rescinded my comments, you didn't even take an answer. You didn't want to take anything for an answer and told me you felt lied to until I outright said something extremely inappropriate that I didn't want to say. You weren't taking anything else for an answer. Another thing, thank you for advising me you're going to talk to Luna. I asked her if it's okay and she's down. And she goes, I'm sorry, I don't know what to think anymore. That's okay. I understand. And that was the last message we ever sent to each other. We are now 6 days later. There is a document on me, and I made the most improper response because I'm freaking out. I can only hope that my side provides some light. Don't harass Coco. I'm going to say this right now at the end of this. I'm so sorry. Don't harass Coco. Don't. Truly do not. And this should have been a private matter. And I'm sorry that this is so unprofessional that I was initially making it for a friend and then I made it for public. Because I saw the document online. It came up on my feed. I was like, holy shit, now there's a document on me. Now I have to make a fucking public response. I'm sorry. And to Arden, I'm really sorry that I made this response like a public response. But this is just what happened. And take your sides if you want to. I'm going to move on. I really am going to move on. That's what I'm going to say right now. I'm going to move on. I'm friends with somebody that I wanted to be friends with again for the longest time, Ramon. I'm doing good. I like to think I'm doing good. I have other things that I got to worry about. No, I'm not homeless, by the way. In any case that anybody is like worrying about that, no, I'm not homeless. I ended up sorting things out at my family, so I'm good. I'm still at home. Well, that's my response. Take it as you will. Sorry for like the mess, but you know.